Hello, and this is the third in the series. Come on, this is the third in the series of learning the Khmer language. All right, today we're going to take a more in-depth look into the actual Khmer script itself. Now, the Khmer script is the largest alphabet in the world, but it's not necessarily the most difficult. There are a large number of consonants, obviously a large number of tone markers to deal with, and the actual vowels, well, as you can see, will go in a different arrangement, which I'll explain here later. But it's actually not that difficult. It, for the most part, abides by the rules that are set and by the rules that we'll discuss in the upcoming classes. For future lessons, I'll try my best to maybe set apart half the class for script, and then for the other half of the class for actual dialogue and grammar practice itself. So we can start that learning wheel, get it rolling. All right, here we go. So as you remember from our last class, we learned our first consonant, which was ga, you see right here. And we learned our first vowel, which is which you see right here. All right, and we put those together, which made ga. And if you need to review, you can go back to lesson 2. Very simple start. All right, right here, I've written I wrote that a little bit early. That's fine. All right, this right here is a little script line, probably like a line you see in a loose leaf paper, or an imaginary line, just to make sure all your words are horizontal. Khmer script is written from left to right. Just like English, and so right here is just, we're going to call this a consonant box, because this is where we're going to put our consonant. So the only consonant we know right now is ga, we learned earlier. There you go, and we have it in here, and you see these 4 other sections here are for vowels. Alright, so notice, in English the vowel can come before or after a consonant, which is rather normal. Well, in Khmer it's a little bit different. It can go before, after, above, or below. Very similar to Thai for the Thai speakers out there, for people who dabble in Thai. Alright? And so for example, if I put a vowel in front of the consonant, well, I'll still read it the same way. I'll read it from left to right, but I'm going to pronounce the consonant first, and then I'll pronounce the vowel sound that goes along with it. An example of this would be a, ga, ge. Alright? So you notice the g goes down, so it still comes first. And this comes for the majority of your vowels. Alright? Alright, and then let's see, I can put something at the top to change pronunciation as well. We're not learning vowels today. Today the main goal is just to understand how the Khmer script works, and then we're going to, in the next couple lessons, we'll do a more in-depth study of the actual vowels themselves and the actual consonants themselves. So we can put a vowel at the top if we wanted to, and it'd be read the same way, a different vowel sound, but with this consonant, the consonant ga beginning, you can put one at the bottom, or you can put one behind. Some vowels will actually take up 2 of these allotted slots. So for example, if I wrote, let's see if I wrote this right here. So this is thra'ao, so ga, gao, gao. Alright, which just means to shave. Very useful, something I need to do. And so the same thing, the vowel sound is actually a combination of the vowel before and the vowel after, but it's pronounced ow, ow, and it's pronounced after the consonant itself. Alright? But just to remember, the vowels will be pronounced after the consonant, but they could be written above, below, behind, or in front of, okay? Alright. Alright, and just so I can give you an example of something on the top. Ge would be an example of a vowel being on the top in along the lines of guo. Guo would be an example of a vowel being written on the bottom. So still the consonant is pronounced first, and the vowel is pronounced afterwards. Alright? And it's also very important to remember, as we mentioned in the last class, every single consonant has an innate vowel sound that goes along with it. Alright? And remember, when we add the vowel, then we're going to eliminate that innate vowel sound that goes with the consonant. So ga will not be ga anymore. It will still remain the initial g, the initial G sound, but then it will take on the following vowel sound that goes along with it. Alright? It's very important to remember. Alright? Now for the consonants themselves, I'm going to divide this up very, very quickly. Khmer consonants can be divided into 2 groups. Alright? And the 2 groups are divided into what consonants take what innate vowel sound. Alright, so the first one here is aw, aw. So half of your Khmer consonants are going to take aw to go along with it. So for example, if it's a t, if it's a T sound, it'll say to. If it's a b sound, it'll take bo. Alright, very easy. Alright, and the other half are going to take the aw. It sort of sounds like the English. Like, oh, wow, aw. I think that's how you spell it. But, oh man, that's awesome. Aw. Alright, so it sounds similar to that. Aw, aw. Alright, and then the other half of the Khmer consonants will take this innate vowel sound. Alright? So when you see any consonant by itself, it'll take either the first innate vowel sound, or the second one, alright? So it's very important to remember. So, very similar, but yet very different at the same time. So a lot of times you'll see this transcripted as a double O. It's very popular. It's not necessarily correct. There is actual transcription in the IPA for a double O sound, which is different, which pronounces O, not as O. But we'll get more into pronunciation later. Alright, here we go. So some examples of consonants that will use this first O that we see right here, alright, are just in this line right here. And so I've divided this into two subgroups here. These are consonants that will use the O sound or carry the innate O sound. These are consonants that carry the innate O sound. And remember, in the IPA system, like I marked here, if you see the colon marks, it means that it's a long vowel. Alright? And in Cambodian, there's a differentiation between short vowels and long vowels. Long vowels are straight, plain, and they carry over a longer period of time than the short vowels. Short vowels will usually drop off, and they're very short. Okay? So an example would be, for example, right here, po would be long, po would be short. So very easy, very easy. Here we go to the first one here. Po, po. Alright? You see? The initial consonant is right here. Alright? And then it carries the innate sound with it. And that's po, po. And what I've done here is I've made words themselves, as opposed to just learning the letters. I've chosen words. For some advanced learners who want to actually learn the words as well, then you get a bonus. Here we go. So po can be translated as a wish. As a wish. Alright, here next. Go, go. Alright. Go is actually the inflection of go. They both carry the same go sound, but this one has an innate O, this one has an innate O, and it's separated by this little uphill mark that you see in a little bit in the center there. Alright, that can be translated as a mute. Alright, just someone who's not able to speak from birth. We're going to say he is go, or net go. Alright, just say he's a mute person. Next right here is the simple consonant would be written by stuff like this. I've chosen to make it into a word. When you see this ko at the end of a word, it's pronounced as a k sound, as a K. So this is just rok, rok, rok. Remember, long vowels are rok. When we carry it out, it just means to search or to find something or to look for something. Alright, depending on its context. So if you search for something, you say rok. So what if we learned you before, yes? So I could say I knyom rok ain. Which sounds a little bit odd, but it would be correct grammar to say that I'm looking for you. Next, to. So to, which can be translated as a gutter. Alright, this is just a gutter. We'll see, this is just a search. Gutters for what's on the side of your house that collects rainwater. Next, mon. So you see this first letter right here is the M sound. And the M sound in Cambodian carries the innate mo, o sound, alright? So there you go. And carrying it by itself would just be like this, alright? And this refers to this, mon, refers to the actual Mon people that you see, that you hear about in Southeast Asia, are the Mon Khmer themselves, are the Mon people. For those not familiar with the Mon language itself, Mon is an ethnic group and also a root language. That's present in modern-day Cambodian, Thai, Vietnam, and I believe also southern Laos as well. Alright, and so now this whole first group right here, and of course there's several more consonants. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to be covering a whole lot more consonants, about 20 more, that just deal with the O, carry this innate vowel sound. Alright, next we're dealing with O, alright. So these consonants here will carry the innate O sound. Here we go to the first one. So you can see it's a T, so it's pronounced to. Alright, so what's that going to mean? This means to connect something, connect two things together. So for example, if I had two wires here and I wanted to connect them, I could say to. Alright. Next, ko, which we learned last time, is the neck. Saw. It usually is accompanied with something else, but by itself will just mean the color white. Alright, so with my cloth to erase things. Next right here, we have a D sound at the beginning, so it's pronounced as a D. So da. Alright, and this is could be translated as a bottle, of, for example, a bottle of Coke or a bottle of water. Alright, and so the actual D by itself just be written like this. Alright, and remember it carries the actual all sound with it. And then over here we have the same letter again. So it's just a word as an example, which is dom, dom, dom. Alright, and so this by itself, which would be written like this, same here. Da. Alright, and dom by itself means to fast, as in to abstain from food for long periods of time. Alright, so we have a basic sort of introduction right here of how the Khmer system works. And what you might see, and I'll write a brief example here of a word, and that we use the vowels in a different area, and sort of what you see in the Khmer script itself. All right, here we go. So let's any word, pick this one. All right. All right. So remember we learned before the sin of the word that goes in the script. We'll have a script line right here. That's fine. Our imaginary line of the horizontal line we're running across. If you can see the letter right here, we'll recognize this. Hey, we learned this letter already. This is go, go. All right. We see it's not by itself, so it won't be mute. We already know that. And we know it carries the innate go sound. Does it have another innate all sound? Well, does it have another vowel with it? Yes, it does. And the vowels, you haven't learned them yet, so it's no need to panic. But this is a vowel right here. All right. Not too bad. All right. And this right here, we haven't learned it either. This is actually the ro that you see right here. All right, for search. But the difference is that this is called a subconsonant. All right, or a aksal dung. And what this means is that this consonant is pronounced together with this consonant. All right, sort of similar if we say state, state. Well, the ST are pronounced together with no vowel in between. Well, in Cambodian, as a main language, you have the same thing here. So what this means is a G followed by an R sound. All right, so you have this go, go, followed by r, r. All right, and as remember from our rules here, the consonant is always pronounced first. So we're first going to look to this consonant. Next, we're going to look for the subconsonant, which is here, and then next we'll look for the vowel. And I know I'm jumping a little bit forward. The main goal today is just to know how the Khmer system of writing works. All right, so we're doing the consonant first, the subconsonant. A subconsonant is the same thing as a consonant itself. The only difference that when two consonants are placed together in the Khmer language, the second consonant sound will be written differently. There's actually a different form of writing for it, all right? So you would think, in theory, you would write this G right here, you could write an R, and then you could write a vowel, and that'd be fine. Well, in Cambodian, it's not the way they think. They'll write the subconsonant either in front of it or below it. All right, and if you trace it back to the Mon, Khmer, and the Indian language that Cambodian comes from, then it makes perfectly good sense. Talking like this, I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to accept it for as it is, for time limitations. All right, but we have this go right here. We have ro, the subconsonant, which is going in front. Below it, we have this is pronounced with this vowel as u, so this would be pronounced as gru, gru. Let me write that IPA for you really here. So it'd be gru is a long tone, which just means teacher, teacher. All right. So there we go, and it should be good. We have a short. Let's listen to the CD really quick and get these vowel sounds from a native speaker, so you guys can listen to them really quickly. Here we go. All right. Oh, right here. Bo. The actual word. All. All right, very simple here. Just the words we talked about earlier. Native leaders for your set. We're not doing a lot in the C today, because today's main goal again is just to understand how the actual Khmer script works itself. Alright, so now we know, okay, if I see a word, we know how it's worked. There's one other rule that you guys need to know. Or actually, we'll do 2 more rules today. How about that? The consonants can be first divided into the ones that carry an innate O sound, are the ones that carry innate O sound. Alright, again, that's O, O. Alright, so different sounds they can carry. So we have divided up here. The consonants can, after this, be divided into 2 more smaller subgroups. Alright. Here we go. And those would just be those that are aspirated and unaspirated. All right, and you'll see a lot of the same consonants. You'll see this T sound later be written with a TH. All right, and all that means is that there's an aspirated sound that comes with it. So whereas this would be pronounced da da with an H, it would also be ta ta. So you'd actually hear a little puff of air that comes along with it, and which translates to a different word. All right, so just aspirated and unaspirated consonants. All the ones you see right here today are unaspirated, as you can hear. All right. And with vowels, with vowel sounds, the reason it's very important, even though when a consonant that belongs to a particular group takes on another vowel, it loses the actual innate vowel sound, it's very important still to remember what innate vowel sound the consonant carries. And the reason for that is each vowel can be pronounced differently, or the majority can be pronounced differently when it carries a different innate vowel sound, or when the consonant carries a different innate vowel sound. And I'll give you an example of this, all right? Let's see, what's a good example? Let's do the, all right, here we go. So we'll do it right here. We'll just take this one right here. So this is, we can erase that. Da, da, all right? We're going to add what we've already learned. Tra, all right? Perfect, all right? You see, now see I've written this here, and the reason is this tra character, when it goes with a consonant that carries the innate all sound, it's going to pronounce as ah. All right, be careful. It's not the same sound. When it carries a consonant that carries, or when it goes with the consonant, excuse me, that carries the innate ah. For example, da sound is going to pronounce as ah. All right. So for example, here. So right here we have da, the consonant written right here. Next one coming afterward, this ah will always go after the consonant. Put after. So we know our rules. We're going to read the consonant first. And then we're going to pronounce the subconsonant, but there's not a subconsonant around here. So we're good there. Then we're going to pronounce the vowel. All right, so we have da. We see a vowel with it. All right, so I'm not going to pronounce the innate consonant sound. I'm going to pronounce da. All right, da. So I'm going to pronounce. That's fine. So we know how it's going to be pronounced. It's going to pronounce as da. All right, that's fine. And what would that mean? Well, that means grandfather. A very colloquial version of grandfather. All right. And the other example here, let's see, if we're going to go with the same initial pronunciation, carrying a different innate consonant, we also have this one right here, which is just do. Alright? And this will go with, let's see, we'll use the same vowel, ah. So let's see here, if the consonant carries initial o sound, well then it's pronounced as ia. Really? So, we'll add this right here. Same thing, there's no subconsonant or anything else. The vowel is going after the consonant. We're going to read the consonant first because the consonant always gets read first. There's no subconsonant here. So consonant plus the vowel will just be pronounced as, using our little chart here, as, there you go, dia. All right? So dia is just a duck. So, all right, grandfather here. And again, it's not important if you actually memorize these words now. The main thing is just knowing how the language works, all right? So just a very quick review. In Cambodian script, it's written from left to right. You're going to put your consonant in here. First, you're going to see if there's a subconsonant. Is there two consonants that are going to be pronounced together? If so, the second consonant will be written in a subconsonant form, which we haven't learned, we're not discussing yet. All right? If there's not a subconsonant, then there'll be a vowel. And the vowel can be placed in front of, behind, above, and below a consonant, all right? But the consonant will still always be pronounced first. All right, next, you also need to decide, all right, what consonant group does this consonant belong to? Does it belong to consonants that carry an innate all sound, or consonants that carry an innate all sound? All right, if it belongs to this one, then the vowel will be pronounced differently. If it belongs to the all, or the bottom one, the vowel will be pronounced a little bit differently. And each vowel will have different pronunciations, so we'll go with that. We'll go over that in future lessons. And again, it sounds a little difficult right now, but it's really not. Once you learn these simple rules in what vowel and how vowels are pronounced within each subgroup, and then it's not that bad at all. All right. Again, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section, and we'll go from there. Thank you for your time.